Welcome to Teacher Tania channel. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're diving into a really fun explainer where we go on a math adventure to uncover the secret identities of fractions. Did you know fractions can actually wear disguises? Well, they can, and it's our job today to learn exactly how to unmask them. We're going to be like math detectives, looking for clues to prove that sometimes numbers that look completely different are actually hiding the exact same value.
Here's our quick game plan for today. We'll start with what equivalent fractions actually are, move on to visualizing with area models, then exploring number lines. After that, we'll hit the multiplication-division rule, and finally wrap up with the simplest form secret. We're tracking our journey from drawing shapes all the way to learning the secret math rules.
All right, Section 1. What are equivalent fractions? Let's dive right into this first point and figure out what exactly an equivalent fraction is.
Before we throw around any tricky math words, I want you to just picture this. Imagine you're really hungry. If I give you 1/2 of a delicious hot cheese pizza, or I give you 2/4 of that exact same cheese pizza, did you get the same amount of food? Take a second, just picture it in your head.
Well, if you said yes, you are absolutely right. You totally did get the exact same amount of pizza. Why? Because they're equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions are just fractions that show the exact same amount, even though they use completely different numbers. Actually, the word equivalent literally has the word equal hiding right inside of it. So 1/2 and 2/4 mean the exact same amount. They're basically just wearing different numbers as a disguise.
Okay, moving right along to Section 2, visualizing with area models. Let's see how this plays out when we look at pictures.
This brilliantly illustrates what we're talking about. Think about a chocolate bar. If you cut it into 2 equal pieces and take 1, that's 1/2. But what if you cut it into 4 equal pieces and take 2? You're still getting the exact same amount of chocolate. Notice how the shaded region on the left, 1 out of 2 parts, is completely identical to the shaded region on the right, 2 out of 4 parts. Even though there are more total pieces on the right, the actual space colored in is exactly the same.
And you know what? We can even keep going. Imagine taking that exact same shape and now cutting it into 6 pieces. If we take 3 out of those 6 pieces, which we'd write as 3/6, you can see it's perfectly equivalent to the 2/4. And we already know that's equivalent to our original 1/2. See how the disguise works? 1/2, 2/4, and 3/6 are all the exact same amount of shaded space. They're just sliced up slightly differently. Section 3, exploring number lines. Now, what's really fascinating is how we can spot these fraction disguise artists out in the wild on a number line instead of just inside shapes.
Imagine you're walking along a path from 0 to 1. If we map out fourths on this line, we're making 4 equal jumps, right? 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and then 1 whole. I want you to look closely at where 2/4 lands. It sits perfectly halfway between 0 and 1. Remember how 2/4 was equivalent to 1/2 with our pizza earlier? Well, here it is again, showing up right at the exact halfway mark.
Now, if we map out 6th on that exact same journey from 0 to 1, we'd make 6 equal jumps. Look at where 3/6 lands, right on that exact same halfway point. It shares the literal exact same spot on the line as 2/4. This completely proves that 3/6 is equivalent to 1/2 and 2/4. Because they all share the exact same location on the number line, they are mathematically equal.
Section 4, the multiplication-division rule. So, here's the crucial part. How do we find these matching fractions when we don't have time to carefully draw out area models or plot perfectly spaced points on a number line? Luckily, math gives us a pretty awesome shortcut for when we're in a hurry. We can use a magical math rule to solve this almost instantly. The rule is super simple. To find an equivalent fraction, all you have to do is multiply or divide the top and the bottom of a fraction by the exact same number. You just have to be totally fair. Whatever you do to the top, you absolutely must do to the bottom.
Let's practice that multiplication rule together right now. Step 1, we start with the fraction 3/4. Step 2, let's pick a number to multiply by. Let's just use 2. So we multiply the top number, our 3, by 2, which gives us 6. Step 3, we must be fair, remember? So we multiply the bottom number, our 4, by that same 2, which gives us 8. Put the new top and bottom together, and boom, 6/8. 3/4 is totally equivalent to 6/8.
And the best part? It works brilliantly with division too, which is super handy when we want to make big numbers smaller and easier to read. Say we have a big clunky fraction like 16/24. If we divide the top number, 16, by 8, we get 2. Now, since we used 8 on top, we have to use 8 on the bottom.
24 divided by 8 is 3. Put those together, and we uncover the equivalent fraction of 2/3. So, 16/24 is perfectly equivalent to 2/3.
Which brings us to Section 5, the simplest form secret. That amazing division example actually leads us right into our final, super fun secret for today's explainer.
You'll definitely hear your math teachers ask you to put a fraction in its simplest form. Well, here is the big secret. Finding the simplest form of a fraction isn't just making the number smaller. You are actually just unmasking its most basic, simple equivalent fraction disguise. When we took 16/24 and divided the top and bottom to get 2/3, we found its simplest form. 2/3 is literally just the simplest disguise that amount can possibly wear.
So, my math detectives, it is time for your final assignment. I want you to put your brand new math rule to the test right now. If we know that 1/2 equals 2/4 and 3/6, what equivalent fraction do you get if you start with 1/2 and multiply both the top and the bottom by 5? Solve this final mystery challenge, write your answer down, and always remember, fractions are just amounts waiting to be unmasked. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.